This is James Mathers for the Digital Cinema Society at NAB 2024 here in the AbelCine booth, and Jeff Lee is going to tell us about some new solutions that they have come up with.
Thanks, James. Great to see you again. We have a couple new solutions, as you mentioned, that we're showcasing in our booth this year. One of which is the Alexa 35 with a multi-dyne fiber back. So this has actually been around for a little bit longer, and we've actually shown it before, but it's interesting because, as we know, Arri released their Arri 35 Live. This solution has been in the marketplace for a couple of years now, but it allows us to take a cinema camera, cinema lenses, cinema-style workflow and look, but convert it to a broadcast application where one might be doing a live event, let's say a concert or a comedy show, or tech conference, let's say, where you have an engineering team in a truck somewhere making iris decisions or exposure decisions or even color decisions. And they can do that all live in a live environment. So we have the multi-dyne Silverback 5 with the what they call the SB8, which is a 24-volt solution, because previously these are all 12-volt solutions. And as you know, this particular camera requires 24-volt. And other cameras, too, are soon to be having a little bit of a higher power requirement. So this is that nice integrated solution to allow us to use cinema front end, as it were, to work with a broadcast back end.
And these cameras have great dynamic range, so that gives the broadcasters the ability to have a cine look.
Yes, absolutely. And, camera operators are still in a more broadcast operation where they have, let's say, a zoom demand. They may be pulling their own focus, but a lot of times you'll have an AC pulling focus as well, especially with the really challenging shots where you're using a really big box lens, let's say, as a Fujinon 25-1000. And if you're shooting wide open on that, pulling your own focus might be a bit challenging. So it gives the option for having an AC do that while you still have the engineering team controlling iris and exposure and paint.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you have over here? Tell us about this setup.
Yeah, so this is the new Sony Burano. Really excited to have it with the brand new bright tangerine cage, the left field cage, as well as with the new Nano Prime from Zeiss. In addition to that, more new things. We also have the new Nano X battery from Core. So overall, this makes a really nice streamline profile camera. It's a great camera that sits kind of really wonderfully in between the Venice 2 and the FX9. So it has the XOCN LT flavor codec, raw codec. We think it's going to be really popular with not just the running gun documentary crowd, but even in the broadcast environment because of all the powerful features and recording codecs. And we're just happy to have all the newest accessories that go along with it as well. We also have the new Nano X battery from Core, which is a wonderful fit to it, as it's a nice low-profile battery that's available at 98 watt-hour or 150 watt-hour.
Those batteries work really well with this. We did an earlier story on that.
And the integrated display for your battery life and remaining life is really, really clever. And of course, it adds a little bit of more robustness to it in terms of weather and dust protection.
It's so compact, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everything's getting smaller these days. So that's why everything's called nano on this camera by chance, the lens and the battery. And we actually have one more solution that I'd love to talk to you about, if you don't mind, but it's called Livestream Complete, and it's in partnership with Canon as well as LiveControl. And what it is the ability for someone, let's say a corporation or a house of worship, where they want to do repeated broadcasts, but they don't necessarily want to have crew on premise. We will work with that corporation or client to help them position the Canon PTZ cameras, and there's different models to choose from. We'll help them position and install it in their facility, but then working with our partners LiveControl, they can schedule any of their shoots. Let's say it's a small comedy club, and they know they have recurring shows every Friday at 8 p.m. They could put that schedule in with LiveControl, and then a remote operator will actually join a secure network. Basically, it's a reverse VLAN, VPN, and they can control the camera remotely, so you don't have to have anyone on staff on premise. And we're actually showing it here because we're working with NAB and Cine Central, and all the programming in the Cine Central is being recorded by a remote technician working for LiveControl. It's been great because we basically gave them the schedule of the programming happening here live, and that person is miles away recording all the programming that NAB will eventually be able to use on their website as well.
So you install the cameras and then you arrange for remote operators to come in?
Correct. We would help them install it, and then the client would then schedule it. And working with Canon, again, it's on actually a bit of a subscription model. And so that helps with some of the price. So there's not much of that sticker shock where you have to invest in 2 or 3 cameras. We help spread that out over several months, depending on how long the term. And all that sort of financing can be arranged ahead of time in terms of the rates and the duration and all those parameters.
Lots of good solutions. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. We love this, and we love working with you guys. So Cheers. Thank you so much again, James.